So hi everyone and welcome to our weekly diamond training. This is Angela Lucente, Emerald Director based in Melbourne, Australia, and I'm really excited to be presenting one of my very favourite topics today, creating your story. This is such an important subject for, I guess, anyone in network marketing, because one of the things that we, make sure that our distributors understand right from the word go is that we are not salespeople. We are simply distributors who use great products, who have a great story to tell. And the formula for creating your story, sharing your story, is one that will really help you to build a great business. So let's get started, guys. So why do we need a great story? I mean, network marketers are highly paid storytellers. This is what I got told when I first started in this business. The Double Diamond, Lyndon Biernoff, told me, Angela, this is not a business of sales. I had been in a sales-based role for almost 25 years in my career. So I was a little bit confused about this whole, network marketing business. When I heard that I had to be a storyteller, I sort of started to wonder about what sort of stories I needed to be sharing. But I was a quick learner and I understood that this is really a people business. So we're building relationships, guys. It's all about finding rapport and resonating with people that you're talking to about Jeunesse, and sharing stories about, great product experiences, but also about the success that you're having with the Jeunesse system. So number one, understand what professional network marketers do. Now, some of you will, find this slide very familiar. It's actually the first slide in the 15 steps getting started training that we work with in JFire International. So we have an induction training. It's a recorded webinar, and it's 15 steps of getting started and how to build your Jeunesse business. So number one is focused on the fact that we do not sell, we do not convince. We are here to share information and to share our incredible stories. So, this is one of the first things that we learn as network marketers. So I had to really, have a good think about this, because I had never done network marketing before, but I had worked in retail over many years, and I had also owned my own businesses for many years. I owned fashion retail boutiques. So in that business, it was all about my shop window. This is how I attracted my customers. So when we look at how to attract customers and how to attract distributors to your Jeunesse business, the thing that we don't have is a physical shop window that we can use to do that with. So let's compare this to a traditional business. The shop window is really what compels you to stop in a shopping center. I mean, I guess everyone on this call would have gone shopping at one stage or other in their life and probably been dragged along against their will. I think there's probably a lot of men on the call that will agree with that. But what makes you want to stop at a shop window? What makes you want to go in, what really engages you, and ultimately what makes you want to make a purchase. The shop window in a traditional business is very, very powerful, and this is why retailers are constantly changing their window to attract people. So let's have a look at the different ways that you can use a shop window in traditional business. We can look at very famous, brands like, we've got Chanel there on the screen. This is what we call brand marketing. I mean, Chanel doesn't really have to do a lot. People that love Chanel simply walk past, they see the brand, they see the logo, and they can't help but want to go in. Even if you can't afford Chanel, you are going to want to go into that shop and have a look at what's on the shelves. Then we have the other end of the spectrum, promotional marketing. This has probably got more mass market appeal because let's face it, nobody wants to pay full price anymore. When I was in retail, this was one of the things that I had to deal with. I had to constantly be reinventing my window and having some sort of attraction marketing. Whenever I put a sale in the window, if I put half price, buy one, get one free, end of season sale, all of this promotional marketing is what would attract more people into the store. So, this is another great way to do it. Victoria's Secrets, I guess, all of the guys on the call today would be looking at those shop windows and thinking, yep, I wouldn't mind staring at that for a while. But, as a woman, I love going into Victoria's Secret because, their windows are really, the type of windows that spark emotions in people, and you just can't help but want to go in and have a feel of some of their product, buy some of it, try it on. I mean, Victoria's Secrets is one of those brands that people love. I call that unfair marketing because you just absolutely don't stand a chance. You're going to go in and you are definitely going to buy something. So here in our network marketing business, the way we do attraction marketing is very different because we don't have a shop front. And this is one of the things that I really struggled with at the beginning of my, journey in direct sales. I had to really look at the way I could attract people, to my store, even though I didn't have a shop as such. So, this business is all about people power. It's about building relationships. And yes, guys, it is all about you when it comes to attraction marketing. So you are the brand, you are the promotion, you are what attracts people, you are the shop window for your Jeunesse business. So you have to be really aware of, I guess, what you're representing, as yourself, as your business, especially on social media, and also when you're out on a day-to-day basis, everything that you do, everything you say, the way you look is representative of what you do in your business and what people can achieve in the business. So the language you use, the stories that you share, it's really up to you guys. You are the most important factor in what you are attracting into your business. So how do you do this? How do you formulate into words the best version of yourself? Because this is really what we're looking for. For me, I really had to dig deep and really come up with, some reasons why I decided to leave my other business where I was having great success. I had to formulate into words, a story that made people understand what I found so attractive about Jeunesse, what compelled me to go along to the meeting and what compelled me to then join and leave my other business. So, we're always looking for the best version of yourself, formulated into words, into a conversation, into a story that will attract people to you. So in terms of Jeunesse, let's have a think about it. Who are you? Who are you guys? What do you stand for? What excites you? What attracted you to this business? What compelled you? I mean, this business is all about attraction marketing. Every time you open your mouth, every time you make a post on social media, everything you do and say is an opportunity for you to attract more people to your business. Now, mostly we attract customers because it's so easy to do that. And, I absolutely love having that component of customers in my network because customers are very, very important. They are what creates retention in your business of purchases, people buying products, and also continued purchases because let's face it, we have such amazing products and products that really do work. They are results driven. So our customers will continue to buy them. So it's very easy to attract customers to the business through stories about the products and how exciting they are. But when it comes to attracting business people to your, Jeunesse network, that takes a little bit more effort. And I guess you have to, create that story with a little bit more intent. And you have to be really, I guess, conscious of what you share and the language you use so that people understand that not only do we have an amazing product, but we also have this incredible business. So what is the storyteller's formula? I love the idea of everyone formulating their own story, writing it out, saying it out loud, recording themselves, sharing it to friends and family, and getting it absolutely right. But, the story can also evolve as your business evolves. So story time, needs to be kept very, very simple. It needs to be honest and truthful. You need to have, one or two compelling parts to the story. And I guess we hear a lot about people that have had adversities that this business and this opportunity has helped them overcome. But we've also got people that have had great successes. I mean, not everything in network marketing has to be about, that person being a victim or being in a bad place or a difficult situation. Sometimes stories can be really inspiring where people have just come from, a very I guess, normal situation, being just working for a boss, but having a great experience with this business and with Janess. So it has to be, I guess, a balance of adversity and success. You don't want to be seen constantly as a victim in your business because people will feel sorry for you, but that may not be attractive to them wanting to join you. So make sure that if you do have adversities in your life that you've overcome through Janess, that you also have a great amount of balance in your story and you have a compelling part to it that is also about the success that Janess has brought to your life. So keep them wanting to know more. Don't give away too much. The whole idea of story time is that people are left hanging. They want to, they're in that situation where they want you to tell them more. It's a bit like seeing the trailer of a really great movie and, you want to go along and watch that movie, not because the trailer told you everything about the movie, but because it told you just enough to get you really, really excited and get you curious. And after watching it, you go, man, I have to go and watch that movie. It looked so fantastic. So there is a formula to how we put our story together, guys. So number one, we talk about your background in Janess. So before Janess, I was. You need to talk about where you were in terms of your career, in terms of your life, in terms of your family, in terms of the success that you were or possibly weren't having. How you found Janess. A friend of mine introduced me to this business. Sorry, guys, my voice is starting to disappear. So how you found Janess, who was it that talked to you about this business? Who was it that took you to the meeting? Who introduced you to the information? Number three, what excited you about Janess? And this is all about emotions. It's how you felt when you watched that information. Also, how your experience has been so far. People not only want to know, about how you got involved, but they want to know, how it's going. And it doesn't mean that you have to have a great success story. I mean, you don't have to have earned a lot of money or ranked at a high level, but as long as people know that you are really happy and that you're feeling supported and that you're making some sort of progress in this business, that is enough for them to see that you've had a positive experience. Lastly, you also have to share your vision for the future, and this is what we call your why. So for a lot of people, this is really the crucial part of the story. You can talk about, I now know that this business can afford me a better life. I now know that I can, in the future, be able to travel more. It's really important that you understand what your why is and how this business has impacted on your life. I hope that you've had a chance to jot some of that down and make some notes there, because it's really important that you have this story completely nutted out. So sorry guys, I'm just getting my son to bring me some water. Yes, I am human. So let's talk about your why power, your vision. I've found a way. This is the part of your story that people are going to be really, really interested in. And, I would prefer, in fact, I make sure that anyone that joins the business in a team that I work with, that they have this story down pat, that they have it worked out even before they know anything else about the business. Because you don't have to know how the Luminesque range is formulated. You don't have to know what ingredients are in it. You don't have to know how many growth factors are in it. As long as you have your story, and your story is connected, emotionally, with you and where you are in your life, and you can share that with the people that you meet, this is what people will resonate with. This is what they will remember once that conversation ends. They're always going to go away and think, wow, doesn't he look really happy at the moment? That was a good decision for him. Wow, I've never seen her look, that excited about anything before, as long as I've known her. So you have to make sure that your why power, this is how you end your story. The reason I am most excited is because I finally found a way for me to have, an income, a lifestyle, and be around for my family, and really be, the sort of woman, that I've always wanted to be. I mean, that's how I used to finish off my story when I got started with Janess all the time. People knew that I'd had success in other businesses, in other jobs, and that I had left a very successful party plane business. So I had to give them a reason as to why I left that business. And the reason was because I found a way to do it even better. So, I hope that that all makes sense for you. So let's have a look at the different types of stories that you guys can also share. So we want to have a few story variations. You want to make sure that, you've got a few stories up your sleeve. Obviously you want to have your own story that you absolutely own, okay? You can have a story about your product experience, and that's really great for when you're attracting customers. You also want to have a story around the business opportunity, and make sure that you can share that freely, openly, easily. If you're not able to do that easily, you just haven't shared it enough. You haven't read it out loud enough. You haven't, written it down enough. So make sure that you've got that business part of your story down pat. And also, what I love is to have a lifestyle aspect to my business testimonial. So, sometimes I won't even talk about the income because, let's face it, if we sometimes when we talk about income, for a lot of people who have never experienced big incomes, it can feel and seem so unattainable. It can almost be the thing that drives them away, because they look at you and think, wow, that's so amazing, but I could never do what that person does. I don't think I could ever earn that much money. And the reason that people will think that is because, unfortunately, most people don't think they deserve to earn more than what they're earning at that moment. I have to tell you something that, when I first looked at Janess, and when my sponsor asked me to look at this information, and I went along and listened to Steve Baker, at a meeting talk about how much money he was earning, the first thing I thought of was, wow, I don't think I could do that, because the most I've ever earned in my life, in my career, is a corporate income around $100,000 a year. Now when Steve started to talk to me about people earning $100,000 a month, I thought, wow, that's ridiculously good, but I'm not sure I can do that. But then Steve started to talk to me about the lifestyle, the travel, the time freedom, being able to being able to get up when you wake up, not when the alarm clock goes off, not having to drive through peak hour traffic. Now, that part of his story, I really got that. That was absolutely contagious. And everything about what he spoke to me about at that meeting in terms of lifestyle and the benefits of this system and the leverage of the business and how it's changed his life, I wanted that. And I knew that I deserved that. I wasn't so sure about the money, guys. I just hoped and I prayed that I could get as far up the ladder as I could. But the lifestyle, hey, who doesn't want to do that? Who doesn't want to be able to work from home and have flexibility and time freedom? And who doesn't think that they don't deserve that? So the lifestyle part of the story is very important. It's also important to understand your business partners in this network. So the people that you don't necessarily have to be aligned with them in your business, but you can hear stories cross-line, upline, downline. It doesn't matter who it is. If you've heard a great story, or you steal those stories. In this business, crime does pay. Steal those stories and you make them your own. Those stories about other people in your business is what creates credibility of your business as well. So if you're not earning a lot of money, you can actually say to someone, I'm working with a guy, I'm working with a girl, I'm working with a girl who's never done network marketing before, yet she has, and you can share that story. It creates a lot more credibility for you and the people you're talking to when you can share stories about other people. And hey, when you can say to them, that's the person I'm working with, it makes it a whole lot better. So your stories need to be flexible. So you think about the people in your network. Think about people that you're talking to on a regular basis. They're all different. People that you're going to come across in your network. Every person you speak to is different in personality, different in where they are in their life, and different in what they need. So you need to be a really good listener so that you can make your story adaptable. So one of the things that we need to do when we meet prospects for the first time is we need to ask some really key questions. You need to find out about them and their life. You need to know what they do, where they work, what sort of work they do. What are their time boundaries like? Do they work a lot or do they work a little bit? Do they work weekends? Ask about their lifestyle. What's their family situation? Um, what do they desire for their family that they haven't got at the moment? Do they want to travel and they can't? Do they, are they saving for kids' education? These are the things you need to find out. And it's just asking a few good questions at the start of every conversation that will give you an alignment. It will help you to resonate your story with things that are important to that person. So if money is not important to someone, there is no use us talking about the high income, that you can earn in Jeunesse. If you're talking to someone who really just wants to help people in the world, they are aligned with charitable funds, they volunteer a lot, then the last thing you want to talk about is people earning these enormous amounts of income. What you want to talk about is what you can do with the income. If that's what it is that really excites you in your life, imagine being able to create an income stream that can give back to the world, that can help you donate to your church, to your charity, to where you volunteer. So make your stories adaptable. It's very, very important. Otherwise, you can really lose people through the conversation. So your story needs to have a hotspot, and hotspots are flexible. Okay, so I have a few different hotspots in my story. So when I'm on a three-way call with some of the team that I work with, I ask a few questions at the start of the conversation so that I can make sure that when I share my story, I've hit some of these hotspots. So some of the really exciting hotspots in Jeunesse stories at the moment in Australia, I love it when James Yates is presenting and he says, after 13 years in this industry, both in the field and at a corporate level, I chose Jeunesse because, and he tells his story. I work with an amazing woman, Angela Lucente, who's a Sapphire Elite here in Australia. And, she went through a very difficult health situation, very early on in her Jeunesse business. And, she has an incredible, compelling part to her story now. And, when she talks about when I was diagnosed with cancer, my Jeunesse business continued to grow. That is a compelling story. And people really, love to hear things like that. So, it shows them that, not even being active, not even being healthy, that this person was able to still grow their business. Vicky Baker, who is traveling around Australia at the moment, building her Jeunesse business. She's a Sapphire executive. She is Stephen Baker's sister. Sorry, Vicky, I know I don't want to tell everyone that that's your claim to fame. It's not, because she's an absolutely fantastic distributor. But Vicky Baker looked at this business for over 2 years and was really quite puzzled by it, because when she finally did engage and meet some of the people in this business, she realized that her brother wasn't successful in Jeunesse, in network marketing, because of who he was. So when she says, I thought my brother was successful because of what he had experienced, of who he was, she realized that this was a business that anybody can do. Now, I've been at events when Vicky shares her story, and the minute she says that, you can really hear people in the audience going, wow, okay, so now I get it. Because that thought actually crossed my mind too the first time I met Steve. I thought, you know what, this guy's super successful because he has so much influence over his network because of who he is. But, it's not the case. Anybody can grow this business. Taylor Daly, probably one of the most exciting Gen Y members in our J5 team, 22 years old, traveling around Australia at the moment, sharing the Jeunesse story, presenting at events. She says at the end of her testimonial, her story at our events, she says, when I joined Jeunesse, I had no experience in anything. She was 20 years old. So what did she have? She had a pipe dream. That's what she had. She was just hoping that this would work for her, because she was watching other people through social media, create amazing lives for themselves. So she was willing to give this a go. So make sure your story has a hot spot. And guys, you got to practice, 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 practice. I cannot stress this enough, because in my opinion, practice does not make perfect. Practice makes progress, okay? So if you're making progress, it means that you're evolving. We don't want to be perfect in network marketing, because we're working with people. There's no such thing as a perfect person in this world. So I don't want to be perfect. I just want to be evolving, my skills, evolving my abilities in this business, and obviously growing my business because of that. So practice makes perfect. So guys, when do you share your story? Okay. So your story, remember at the start of this presentation, we talked about it being your shop front. So your story is your voice, right? It's you, your mindset and your voice, and you've practiced, practiced, practiced. So what does that mean? It means that when you have a story, you are open for business anytime, anywhere, anyhow. You just got to talk, and you are ready and able to build your business. You can connect with people. So I know the products are our tools. Okay, this is how we build through enrolling customers, distributors. Okay, that's the vehicle. The products are what we use. That's our tools. But your story is your secret weapon. Okay, we use it when we're prospecting one-on-one through the conversations that we have. We use them at home events and launches. When you do a home event, when you're launching your business, the first thing we do is welcome everyone, and we share our story. The reason why we've gathered everyone together in that lounge room to share this information, the reason you joined. Also, if anyone's been to one of our corporate live events, you know that during and at the end of the event, we always call on some of our distributors to share their 2-minute testimonial. This is very important, because people come along to our events and they hear the expert at the front of the room, and the expert is normally telling the story, sharing the information, and people see that person as an expert, someone that knows their stuff, okay? But what they really want to hear from are the people that are on the ground running. It can be people that have just got started. It can be people that have been in the business for a while. It can be people that are just ranked at an executive type level, or you can have someone that's a diamond share their story. But these 2-minute testimonials are so important to your business. You need to practice these, guys. You need to get them under 2 minutes. It needs to have that formula structure, those 5 aspects of your story, okay, that we talked about at the start of this presentation. That all needs to be included in that 2-minute testimonial. It must be 2 minutes or less, because remember, every opportunity needs to be respectful of the time frame that people have allowed to be there. The other time that we share our stories is on a 3-way call. And I mean, right now, I am building this business predominantly through this system, 3-way call scenario. Our team is totally focused on introducing their prospects to the people that they work with. So it's a simple gesture. I love that you're excited. I know you've watched some information, and I know you've got some great questions to ask, but what I want to do is I want to introduce you to one of the people that I'm working with. So when can we schedule a 10-minute call? 10 to 15 minutes is all it takes to do a 3-way call. So the 3-way call scenario means that the person, the expert that's doing the call, so if you're going to do these calls for your team, make sure you've got your story down pat, because part of that call structure is, number one, to ask a lot of questions at the start and get to know the person on the other end, find out their hotspots, and then ask for permission to share your story. The minute they say yes, it means that they're listening, okay? So they're listening and they are attentive, and they want to know genuinely how you got involved in Jeunesse. And because you know their hotspots, you're going to share your story in a way that's really going to align with the things that are important to that person. So this story that you're going to create, your story, is so, so important at so many levels. So I call it the 2-minute miracle. Now, I know we've got another 2-minute miracle product in Jeunesse, Instantly Ageless, but, for me, when you put these together, Instantly Ageless versus the power of a great story, the story wins hands down. You think about it this way. If you share your story 3 times a day, what is the power of that? If you share Instantly Ageless, 3 boxes a day, what is the dynamics of that? When you look at those numbers, 3 stories a day means you're sharing this with 1,000 people a year, a 2-minute story. When we look at 1 in 10 joining, that's 100 new enrollments into your business every year. Now, when we look that in comparison to 100 enrollments, okay, 10 leaders. 1 in 10 is going to do this business on average. Okay, so is it worth it, guys? Is it worth getting out there and sharing your story 3 times a day? Or would you rather sell 3 boxes of Instantly Ageless a day? Look at the numbers there. 1,000 people turn into 100 enrollments. 100 enrollments turn into 10 leaders. Multiply this activity by the 10 leaders in your business and see what happens in your network. It will absolutely explode. Okay, imagine you've got 10 leaders. They don't have to be all on your level 1. It'd be fantastic if they were. But what if you've got leaders in your network you're working with, you've aligned with them because you're working deep in your business, and you're all doing the power of 3 stories a day. Okay, this is how powerful your story can be. Facts tell, stories sell. Guys, do not get caught up in the facts and figures of this industry and this business. Okay, this can all be shared through PDFs, through videos, through Google. Okay, our websites are a wealth of information. As you grow in the business and you go through the ranks, of course, you're going to become more knowledgeable and you'll be able to answer some of those harder questions. But right now, at the beginning of your business and right through, even at my level as an Emerald director, the thing I do every day is share my story. I share it at events. I share it at launches, I share it on three-way calls, and I share it always, always, always when I'm prospecting, okay? That 5-minute prospecting call where you're going to create curiosity. The best curiosity that you can create is not through telling people how many members Janice joined in June and how much, active ingredient is in the Luminesce. That's all great and that's fine. But the thing that these people, your warm market especially, wants to know is why you have joined Janice, how you found your experience, and where you're going with this. What is your why power? So guys, I really hope you've enjoyed today's presentation. If you're listening to this from a recording that your sponsor has sent you, congratulations. I'm really glad that you've been able to find this link. For those of you that are on the call, I will be posting this link to my YouTube channel, which is simply Angela Lucente, and I look forward to seeing many of you use this and share it with your teams.